At the Computer, I'm Frank Howley. Unfortunately, Bruce couldn't join us today. He's been summoned to the Outworld to defend mankind as Earth's champion. But thankfully, we got Mortal Kombat expert Leroy Patterson.
Well, you told me to get over here, and so I did.
That's a little scorpion. Hey, Leroy, I got a quiz for you. What's Mortal Kombat 2 rated?
Well, the first one was not rated because it was before the rating system. However, this one is rated MA17, which is an early version of the M rating.
Wow, Leroy, it looks like you really know your stuff. But, to be fair, are you over 17?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Looks like we can play it. A lot of blood and gore. We're going to be playing Mortal Kombat 2 at the computer.
For real, though, I can't play this game. My mom won't let me.
Welcome to Mortal Kombat 2 at the computer. Warning, you will see extreme blood and guts and gore.
So much violence.
Probably gonna get pulled off of YouTube.
Hopefully.
Anyways, let's just jump into it. You guys get some quarters in? Slam some quarters? Oh yeah. Alright, let's press start. Alright. Might as well. Who are you gonna go? Oh, let's do the classic.
Uh-oh.
Sub-Zero vs. Scorpion. Alright. Fuck, this game is so goddamn cool. Anyways, my history with Mortal Kombat, I remember like the first time I played this on Super Nintendo. I think that was my first time seeing Mortal Kombat 2, and just being blown away. Sorry, Marty, being so cheap. Being blown away at how I played a lot of like Street Fighter, so I love like the colorful graphics and just the charm of Capcom. And this was noticeably more crusty, but fucking like awesome. I also grew up watching like cheesy action movies and stuff, so I loved everything this game had going for it. It was inspired by like martial arts films, horror films, and then also it was like a midway arcade game, so it just wanted to like be cheesy and over the top. It had the real life graphics. I remember seeing Mortal Kombat 2 in the arcade, the giant cabinet with like the lightning strike, and just being overwhelmed by how cool it was. And then my local pizza place had Mortal Kombat 1, also on arcade, which is awesome. Yeah, I as a kid, Street Fighter was my favorite, but I also couldn't get enough of Mortal Kombat. Leroy, what's your history with Mortal Kombat?
I love this series. It's easily one of my favorite game series growing up. I played it all the time. No worries, played it all the time in the arcades. That first one, it really defined because I always thought of games as like, either 8-bit graphics or animated frames. It was never. Seeing this for the first time and seeing digitized actors made me think that I could make something like this. I could do this. It's not just. I don't have to be an artist. I don't have to. I can just film some people and make some cool stuff. And it was so inspiring to me to see graphics like this. Like, oh my god, this looks like real life. Yeah. This is insane.
Yeah. So like fuck. I just got frozen. So Mortal Kombat was really famous for like the violence and stuff at the time. Again, Street Fighter didn't have blood, but I still like Street Fighter more. But like, do you remember what it was like at the time, like seeing something, not only because the digital actor stuff was cool, but like what was it like seeing the blood and like gore on a video game, which is normally so kids safe with like Nintendo and like Pac-Man and stuff like that. What was it like seeing the Switch?
I just remember seeing massive crowds, like, you'd have to throw your quarter up on the game in hopes that you'd get to play in the next 20 minutes. Just and hoping that the people you're watching play know the fatalities and they know all the cool stuff. Unfortunately,
I don't remember any of the fatality commands, but
I remember scorpions, and that's about it from this one anyway.
Jesus. Yeah,
but this was also before the times of like the internet. You couldn't really look up.
Yeah.
You just had to like hopefully get a game magazine. Nice. You had to have like a game magazine that had everything listed.
Well, I remember as a kid, I'd go to arcades and I'd bring tips and tricks with me.
Yeah.
To because I played, like I said, Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff, and then you had to unlock like all these secret characters, and oh my god, what is this? What is this shit? Get out of here! Oh fuck. All right. God damn it. Yeah, I can't. The fatality commands are always too hard, but I had a Mortal Kombat trilogy, and there's a cheat code you can put in there.
Oh, the one-button fatalities.
There's that, but there's also it would just do a demonstration, just show you all of the fatalities. So I would just constantly watch this like 15-minute demo reel off my N64 and just be blown away by all the stuff. But yeah, like, so the first Mortal Kombat came out, and yeah, it was unique because of the digital graphics and stuff like that. But Mortal Kombat 2 was cool because like Mortal Kombat 1, it was all like Earth locations, but this had like, was it the Outer World or the Nether Realm? What's it called?
Yeah, Nether Realm. An Outworld.
Hell yeah. How do I do my little like acid ball? Jesus. That's the other thing too. I know like with Street Fighter, I know all the Street Fighter commands, but I feel like Mortal Kombat had very obtuse commands.
Oh yeah, it was very different.
It's just like, why do they make it so fucking hard to do simple moves? Oh hell yeah.
I'm still used to like modern games where just holding back is block. I always forget.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Mortal
dedicated...
Kombat has its own block button. Hell yeah, just punch you. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2, like, I feel like Mortal Kombat 1 was their first game, so it was still kind of janky and they're figuring stuff out.
It was rough. A lot of people had a lot of the same moves. You know, like each person had like 3 special moves and a fatality, and that was like the real difference between everyone.
But then with Mortal Kombat 2, they're able to like almost make it even more mature. The color palette is darker. These backgrounds are very 90s but purple, but like I can't get enough of the skeleton shit. Like I think that's so goddamn cool. Oh, this doesn't let me do my acid ball. I love like with Mortal Kombat. I love like the focus. It's very like 80s metal, but like skeletons and blood and just like. Even Scorpion being from hell and that kind of shit is like so goofy but awesome. And again, the martial arts stuff. I don't know, the game is just, it's fucking cool. I really, really like it. But then like Mortal Kombat 3, I'm not a huge fan of. I played it a lot as a kid, but like I feel like Mortal Kombat 3 hasn't aged as well. It just kind of looks janky. I don't know, I feel like there's too many characters that doesn't hold up as well.
It's all about Striker though. Striker's amazing.
Yeah, there's Cyrax and there's Striker, which I really like. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2 is kind of all I need for me. But I played Mortal Kombat Trilogy a shitload on N64, which I loved. What is your favorite Mortal Kombat?
Oh, that's tough. It might be this one.
Yeah.
I'm also a fan of some of the newer ones are great too.
Yeah, so like
ever since the reboot.
So like the series went from like MK1, MK2, MK3. Those to me were like the original. Like that's all I needed.
Yeah.
And then Mortal Kombat 4 came out.
Those were bad.
Which was like 3D graphics. So like that's kind of neat. But they had weapons and like the game just wasn't as good. I had it on PlayStation. I had long load times. It was ugly. I kind of checked out.
Even a lot of the new characters were bad. Like Jarek was terrible.
Jarek. Hell yeah. The endings, the cutscenes are amazing though.
Oh yeah, they're laughably bad. You need to see to believe kind of stuff.
Scorpion looks so rad. Again, ninjas. Can't get enough of ninjas. And then they came out with some for the PS2 generation, which I rented but didn't really get deep into. But there's Deadly Alliance and Deception. How are those?
Those are fine. And one, I think it was Deadly Alliance. They kill Liu Kang like right in the middle, or right in the beginning of the game, and you're like, oh my god, like it was so shocking because he was like, you know, their main poster boy. And so it was like, all right, this thing's gonna be different. This one's gonna be nuts.
And then yeah, like I mean, I feel like it's when Street Fighter rebranded from 2 to 3, they dropped so many characters and had a whole new cast. Was like the GameCube versions like, how many fucking, wasn't there like a blind guy named like Renshinko or something? I don't know. There's so many goddamn characters. Kenshi, yeah.
Yeah, the blind swordsman.
Oh shit, I'm not gonna do anything. This uppercut. Again, I don't know any fatalities. I know you can turn into a dragon. And one of them, Liu Kang's, can he spawn an MK arcade cabinet? That's fucking. That's
I want to say Raiden does that, but
I'm gonna play as Raiden right now. Raiden's cool as shit. Oh, if I also pick Scorpion, you turn into like a little darker color. Hell yeah, Raiden. Is it Raiden or Raiden? I mean, he says Raiden this, but I just thought it was Raiden. Oh, okay. I always loved the trees. I remember seeing Mortal Kombat 2 for the first time in arcades and seeing this tree level. And like, I don't know, I have a distinct memory in being in the Mission Vale Mall playing this for the first time. Oh, Jade!
Yep.
Damn, that's a little spoiler.
And people would always say that you could like feed, like one of the stage fatalities was you could throw them into the mouth of a tree, which never existed until...
Well, that was another thing too, again, before the internet, there was always rumors, like, oh, can you play as like Katana naked? You know, like just dumb shit like that. Oh, I unlocked Ryu in Mortal Kombat. I saw my friend Jimmy do it. Like, just, I feel like as kids, like, because what we were seeing on screen was so ridiculous that like, yeah, you were willing to believe anything because people would always discover fatalities and stuff. Like, they kind of liked leaking secrets out like that. But like, it was amazing how these playground rumors, like, you know, kind of transformed. Whereas nowadays, a game comes out, even before the game comes out, there's 100% completion guides. Like, if people are able to data mine with achievements and stuff, and like, that mystery is kind of gone. Whereas like in the 90s, I remember, like,
and there was no, like, you can have proof that something exists now.
Yeah,
you know, like, you could immediately look online and be like, no, my friend's full of shit. You know, he's a liar.
Yeah.
But back in the day, you're like, maybe, I don't know.
Hell yeah. Sorry, oh fuck. Damn, that's classic. Oh, I want to see you do. Can you do a fatality?
I think I remember. I think it's whole block, down, down, up.
But yeah, other thing, speaking with the blood and violence, they definitely use that for marketing. So like, wasn't the deal with when it came to Genesis that had blood, but the Super Nintendo had like sweat?
Correct. Yeah,
that's lame.
It was like green blood. It was.
Yeah.
I had both versions because I was a huge nerd and my parents spoiled me a little bit.
Yeah.
Genesis was at Grandma's house. You know, the Super Nintendo was at mine.
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing that the Super Nintendo version really had over it was
Nice.
Did it? The main deal was it had the buttons were so much better because Super Nintendo you had the forward facing buttons, and then the shoulder buttons. What was the Genesis? You just had those 3.
Yeah.
And so you had to like they did a lot of like dual button presses and stuff to make up for missing buttons, and I was not a fan of that.
Yeah, the weirdest shit. This isn't Mortal Kombat, but I later found out like just a few years ago that Street Fighter 2 on the Genesis, you had to hit select to switch to punches and kicks, which is like insane. I couldn't imagine playing Street Fighter on Genesis like that.
Yeah.
That's like I feel like really bad for any kids grip like that. That's
couldn't really figure out a good way to fix all that.
Oh Jesus. When did Jax get metal arms? He doesn't have metal arms in this game.
Yeah, it's the 3rd game.
Jeez, see the fucking too much history. I checked out of Mortal Kombat 2. And then with marketing for Mortal Kombat, when the game was ported to consoles, they had Mortal Monday.
That was for the first game, yeah.
And there's a really great commercial where it's just like teenage kids in the street screaming like Mortal Kombat, and like a riot of teenagers like running to the game shop.
That was like me and my friends. I mean, we bought into that hype. It was so huge because. Same thing when Street Fighter 2 came out on consoles. Like, it was a big deal that we were getting some pretty good ports of these amazing games that we were spending hundreds of dollars in the arcade to finally play.
Oh, that's the other thing, too, is that, a group of friends could just chip in on a game.
Yeah.
And then instead of having to, like, blow all your allowance at the arcade. I'm looking up moves for Jax. Oh, trying to wiggle it around. The other thing that tied me to Mortal Kombat that I loved is the Mortal Kombat movie is the best video game movie ever made.
Oh, for sure.
And it's amazing. I remember watching it all the time as a kid on VHS. But again, also a little back and forth. Because like I had it on VHS. I love cheesy martial arts movies, and I like it because like Mortal Kombat itself is very much inspired by like martial arts movies.
Yeah.
The game originally was like a pitch to Van Damme to do like a blood sport video game, and they couldn't get Van Damme, so that's why instead, they have Johnny Cage kind of stand in for like Hollywood jerks or whatever. I love Van Damme, he's not a jerk. But yeah, it's the Mortal Kombat movie. I loved it as a kid. I recently rewatched it. Bruce and I watched it, and it's incredible. Yeah. Like, it's very much kind of cheesy, kind of low budget, kind of dumbed down.
But they know that.
But it's a video game movie, and like it doesn't try to overreach its ambitions. Like, it's a lot of goofy fight pieces that shows off a lot of early '90s CGI. And if you appreciate for what it is, like there's sets full of skeletons and shit. It's like cool as shit. Hell yeah, there you go, the uppercut. It's great, it's really great. There's one sequence though that watching it is like legitimately amazing. It's when Johnny Cage fights Scorpion. Like that entire sequence where he's in the forest and then the little like, the serpent thing chasing him through the woods, and then they transport to hell. Yeah. And then it's just death metal. Oh, it's Johnny Cage and Scorpion fighting over death metal. Yeah. And like there's tons of skeletons. Like the movie also uses the announced Shao Kahn's voice constantly, like reptile, like And then you have the techno like every 10 seconds. Also, I feel like they say the phrase Mortal Kombat like every 5 minutes.
Well,
like
it's the only movie in history that shouts its own name as soon as it starts.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, the New Line logo hits Mortal Kombat.
Yeah. Also, the movie starts, and the New Line logo's on screen is. It'd
be amazing if, like, Sleepless in Seattle. Or, more movies need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking amazing. Like, I legitimately watched it again, and I had a great time. It made me feel so happy. I just watched Isle of Dogs this week, Wes Anderson's movie. That was great, but I was more surprised by the Mortal Kombat movie, how timeless it is. So check out the Mortal Kombat movie. Now, my question for you, Leroy.
Yes.
How is Annihilation?
I love it.
Really?
People trash on it. It's hated amongst so many people. That's fine. I love it. It's super.
Bruce and I are gonna watch it too. Okay, again, I'm not expecting it to be good. We're watching it 20 years later. But I watched the trailer for it, and you have Cyrax, you have all these characters, and it's like, fuck yeah, I'm into it.
So many of them just get like, here's a quick scene with this person, and it's so insane it's. Whereas the first one is a great film. Yeah. This one, it just ups the with the hell factor.
Cheese, yeah. Okay.
So much.
Well, it's also cracks me up as the movie was made 2 years later and only like 2 cast members returned. I think.
Everyone was like, nah.
Is it Katana? Who else checked out? Is it Katana and Johnny?
Robin Chu.
Who?
Was
Liu Kang?
Liu Kang, yeah.
So just Liu Kang and Katana. Everyone else bounced out.
Yeah, well, because I'm not gonna spoil it for you if you haven't seen it yet. But they do some.
No MK Annihilation spoilers.
They do some things with the Johnny Cage character where the original actor was like, nah, I'm good.
Okay, all right.
I don't want to do that.
What's better, Annihilation 2018 or Mortal Kombat Annihilation?
I gotta go with Mortal Kombat.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
One of the-
I liked Annihilation.
Yeah.
It was good. But
I loved Annihilation. Okay.
I saw a lot of like plot holes that were bugging me.
Okay.
So.
One thing I like too, and this is something Midway was great at, is the amount of Easter eggs in all the levels.
Oh yeah.
So Sonya and Kano aren't in MK2, but instead they're tied up here with Shao Kahn, and I thought that was just like, I don't know, that's cool. And again, as these games get bigger, Street Fighter does this too. Street Fighter especially does this. But when you have all these like side characters in here, like you see a lot of Final Fight characters in the alpha games, and just like a lot of cool shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like that attention to detail for the fans. Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, and like Katana and Molina are palette swap characters, but there's so much
Yeah.
story and character behind the two of them that you don't really notice. You know, things are very different.
Yeah, and then what's the deal with Sub-Zero Mythologies?
That one was bad.
Because they did like a bunch of these spin-off games that were like,
there was that one. There was
Shaolin. There was Shaolin Monks, which I heard is alright. A co-op
Shaolin
game.
Monks is great.
But
that one's fun.
What's Special Forces for PlayStation?
Yeah, PlayStation and N64. Special Forces and Sub-Zero were trying to like do more of like an adventure mode kind of game, and like spin off of like certain characters would pop up, but it just wasn't good. It wasn't fun at all.
That's cool. So.
But they figured out what the hell they were doing for Shaolin Monks, and that one was great. That one was a ton of fun.
And then I checked out after Mortal Kombat 4, but then they brought it back in 2011 as Mortal Kombat, and then even before that, actually, they did Mortal Kombat vs. DC. How was so? Actually, I guess the broader thing is now Ed Boon and like that team, they kind of switch off from doing a Mortal Kombat to a superhero game because now they have Injustice.
Yeah.
But I guess the start of their whole reboot was MK vs. DC.
Yeah.
Can you kind of talk about that whole series of games and back and forth and like, how is it?
So MKDC, it's okay. It loses that edge because DC didn't want
at the time
ripping heads off and stuff, and that's fair.
Yeah.
And so it loses that Mortal Kombat edge. So you've got some neat, the fighting is fine.
Yeah.
And there's some neat stuff in there, but it's kind of forgettable now just because the Injustice series is so good.
Yeah.
And the Mortal Kombats are so good separately.
So that was kind of like they're just dusting off the cobwebs, like, all right, let's try to do this. So then, more recently, how is, I want to see what Red Raiden looks like. Can you pick Raiden? I want to see what Red Raiden. Oh, fuck yeah.
Let's do it.
Raiden. How is Mortal Kombat X, like the most recent one?
I love it.
Really?
Yeah, tons of fun. A lot of really neat characters, both.
Is that the shit where they added all the horror? Can't you play as like Leatherface or something?
Yeah, Leatherface.
That's ridiculous.
Alien, Predator, and Jason.
What?
Are in that one.
Is that if I buy Mortal Kombat XL, do I get all that?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And if Part 9 had Freddy in it, but it was like the remake Freddy, so I was a little sad.
I kind of want to play as Leatherface now.
He's pretty awesome.
That sounds cool. Isn't there a story mode or some shit?
Yeah, like they've gone nuts with story modes and with all.
Well, that's what I heard though. I heard that like with Injustice, the actual story mode is like really good, which is so new because growing up as a kid, story modes you didn't give a shit about. There was a cutscene at the end that was funny, but you know what I mean. Like no one really cared about story in these games.
Yeah.
But you're saying
it's gotten
it's good.
so much better. Yeah.
Nice.
Both Injustice 2 and the newest Mortal Kombat have some great stories.
Fuck.
A lot of neat unlockables. I mean, they're a ton of
That's
fun.
the one thing I remember from the GameCube versions is they had the combat crypt or whatever. Where you could spend your coins.
That stuff still keeps coming back. And
So there are lots of unlockables. So that's the thing I like is like when I play video games, Danny O'Dwyer just put out the Warframe documentary on NoClip, and they talk about how Call of Duty Modern Warfare kind of changed video games forever, where people now had to be addicted to games. You had to gamify everything.
Oh, yeah.
XP systems, unlocks, and like unfortunately, that's kind of how I am now. I need some kind of
something to keep you playing.
And thankfully, there's the metagame with achievements. It doesn't mean shit, but at least it's like, oh, if I play as 30 rounds, okay, I get an achievement. It's just some kind of bigger thing to chip at.
I sat there for 12 hours on Dead Rising, like to kill all of those zombies in one game.
I got that, yeah.
You know, and it adds a new layer of the game to it. It makes it worth going through all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I like hearing that there's unlockables. The idea I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah.
So even if because now I can get XL for kind of cheap, so it's like fuck it. Whoa, we both did the laser. Now I just want to play as Leatherface. That sounds cool. And then Injustice, it's a fighting game, but there's loot in there.
Yeah, they added loot boxes in Injustice 2, and it's fine.
Yeah.
Because a lot of it's cosmetic stuff. Some of it, a lot of what's neat is there's a whole bunch of different armors and costumes through all the different years, and they all give you different bonuses and stuff. But you can take those.
Maybe
bonuses
as I get
apply.
deeper into comics, I'll check it out.
Damn. So they just added the Ninja Turtles to Injustice 2 as their one fighter, all 4 of them.
Yeah.
It is so much fun.
That's another TMNT is something, because I grew up in '91. I feel like maybe 3 years too young to like, because I still had, there's fucking Toasty. All right, we played long enough to get to Toasty. That's all that matters. That was another, again, Easter eggs with Midway Games. The guy who did Toasty, I think is the sound designer or whatever, but just a random thing he'll pop in there. And it's like, Midway was full of this. Again, an NBA Jam, couldn't you unlock Bill Clinton?
Yeah.
Like,
there's a lot of neat unlockables in that game.
How the fuck do I do anything in here? I'm trying to like, click, oh, there's the fan. All right. Again, all these goddamn, oh, that's it. Again, all the inputs in these games are such a mystery. Whereas Street Fighter, everything is the same.
Yeah, they really wanted each character to feel different.
But I feel like I also need to rediscover TMNT. I want to watch the movies and then play the Konami game.
You can watch the first 2 movies. That third one is.
Is the third one where they go to Japan?
Yep.
Leroy, you said you didn't like Wolverine in Japan, you didn't like TMNT in Japan. As a huge like weeaboo though, wouldn't I love that? Wouldn't I love it? Okay, all right.
Maybe.
But also
Some people can be wrong. That's fine.
But you do say you love MK Annihilation. So if MK3 is truly not worth it, then maybe I'll believe it.
Yeah.
Anyways, coming back to this. I don't know, I like playing Mortal Kombat 2. The other thing that woke me up was when I played, I went to like PAX, I think PAX South or PAX Prime, and these video game conventions are great because they have arcades with free play, and they had an MK2 machine, and I fucking was there for like an hour.
Oh, nice.
Me and like 4 other dudes going back and forth, and like, it was a fucking great time. I don't know. Ooh, yes! How cool is that? Again, I love freezing people up in the air. Last thing, we have a quick email from Jonathan Nilsson. He asked, what's a game that took you a long time to play before you realized you loved it? Maybe something that was kind of subpar in the beginning, but got better later on. For him, he said it was Spec Ops: The Line, but that's how the game was intentionally designed.
I worked on that game.
Exactly, so there's 2 things I want to bring up. I want to first answer, like, what game for me? For me, this sounds weird, but the Legend of Zelda series, that was something that was always there, and as a kid, I tried playing it, but like, it was kind of too obtuse. I wasn't good with puzzles, so it never really clicked for me. It wasn't fun for me. Yeah. I'd watch friends play it. I had a friend, I'd always go to his house and like watch Ocarina of Time, so I got it, but Zelda never clicked for me. And then in like 2014, I don't know what it was. I think it's because when I was doing Neighborhood Game Club, I wanted to like brush up on a lot of big video game series. So I started playing the Zelda games, and it was like, oh, now that I was an adult, and because I just look up walkthroughs, but like, it was like, no, I get it. I really understand like the charm of Zelda. I loved it, and I played through Link. I played through Link to the Past, Ocarina of Time, and Wind Waker in the span of a month. Just tore through them, and it was like, okay, I finally get Zelda. I love it. I didn't need to play all of them, but like, and now Link to the Past is legitimately like, it's like one of the best games ever made. Like, I love that game.
Yeah, Link to the Past.
But
it's the only one I really love.
Yeah, and then what's a game that took a long time for you to like either appreciate, either as because you never got around to it, or just something that like you started playing it first and then later it revealed itself?
Prototype was the game that I was into big time. At first it was kind of fun, and then just like I'm like, oh my god, I love this series. This is so much fun.
That's how it was for me. I remember I played Infamous, and it was like, it was okay, and then Bruce was like, Frank, this is back when those games were new. Like, I feel like if you played it now, whatever. But he said like, no, he really liked it. Then I tried it again and was like, oh, okay, because Infamous 1 is kind of crusty, but Infamous 2 is great, and then I love Second Son. As just like that PS4 game, I loved it because it was an open world game that takes 9 hours to beat. But then,
nice, okay.
Yeah, so because
I bought that one, but I never got around to playing it.
It's a really polished.
I love the first one.
Yeah, it's really polished and good. Second Son is really good. But yeah, I never played Prototype because I played Infamous, so it was like, I don't need both of these games.
Yeah.
But again, you're someone who's way into comic book stuff, so maybe that scratches that itch. But
yeah,
man, I've been really itching to play like Crackdown again, and so I'm eager for Crackdown 3 to come out, because even if it sucks, like I know exactly what that game is.
Have you played Agents of Mayhem?
I did. I was kind of on the fence of it. I thought it was really glitchy. Also, I wasn't into comic books at the time, so like now looking back on it, like, oh, it's very much. If you're a comic book dude, you'd probably like it more. But like, again, I was hoping for that. It was kind of too janky for me.
Sure.
But like, yeah, I'm scratching for a big open world, like kind of destruction fun game, not like a serious one like Far Cry 5 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like that, like whole ultimate destruction is so much.
Yes, I need to get into that shit, and I want to play Spider-Man 2.
Oh my god, the best.
Anyways, last little tidbit. You said you were a QA tester, and I did a full interview with Leroy where we talked about his QA testing stuff on Neighborhood Game Club. I'll put a link below. But yeah, what was it like? What would you do for Spec Ops: The Line?
So yeah, I did QA like in the first kind of few months or so that it was in test. I joined the team a little late. It was not good. when I was playing it, which
was it before the story stuff was in place? Because wasn't that all kind of retconned? Or wasn't that like added in later?
Yeah, because there was a little bit of the story, like a little bit of the things that I see people lauding and saying was so good. A little bit of that was in there, but not a lot.
I want to see single player.
Yeah.
Arcade mode.
And so it was cool. Like the cover system was a lot of fun, but everything else was just really bad.
Yeah.
And then I left the company before it came out. You know,
a few
months before it came out. So I'm like, this thing's a pile of garbage.
You had no idea it was going to be amazing.
Yeah, I was like, everyone's going to hate this. And then when it came out and it's universally loved and people were saying it's so good, I was like, wait, that game? Seriously?
They turned it around.
And I just can't bring myself to go and play it, but I will eventually.
It's fucking good. Well, maybe, if you play through it fresh, then we can have you on. We can cover that game. Because Spec Ops: The Line is one of those games that like no one knew about it, and then like later on, it's like, have you played this game? And then when you play it, it's like, oh, this game's amazing. This game's amazing. But I just feel like it's one of those games. I feel like if you're sharp enough to watch this show, like you already know what Spec Ops: The Line is. But maybe it's worth covering in the future. Let me know in the comments below. Anyways, Melina, she takes off her mask. She's like a fucking Baraka under there. Kind of scary. But, ninja chicks, I'm into it. Anyways, that's Mortal Kombat 2. I hope you enjoyed our little run through. And then there's a little laser portal in the back. Again, I fucking love the look of this game. It's cool as shit. Leroy, what's the final word?
Fatality.
Oh, flawless victory. People are gonna be mad. There's no single fatality in this. Sorry. So that was Mortal Kombat 2. We played the arcade version, but it's available on Genesis, Super Nintendo, probably every single console imaginable. If you want the blood, get the Genesis version. Don't be a little Nintendo baby. This game, I had it on Super Nintendo, played it in arcade. God, it's for how influential Mortal Kombat was to me as a kid. My most played was MK Trilogy on N64. We'll probably cover that in the future. But yeah, this captured like early 90s zeitgeist, that attitude, that coolness of it. Oh my God. For me, it's a two thumbs game. I love Mortal Kombat 2. Again, nowadays, it's fun to like load up a main play a little bit, but as a kid, this was like the coolest. Street Fighter's still better. I love Street Fighter. But yeah, Mortal Kombat 2. It's the coolest. This is my favorite in the series. God damn, it's cool as hell. I love Midway. Leroy, what do you think?
Oh man, two thumbs up as well. It is iconic.
Hell yeah.
I mean, my whole childhood was wrapped up in the game and
also like the franchise. Like there's a fucking comic book. This is like the original like one shot. This is so goddamn cool. Leroy,
this is my original from.
And you have a big.
I bought it at the comic store, brand new.
You have a big Mortal Kombat collection. We did again. Neighborhood Game Club. I show off Leroy's stuff. Check it out. You also have the Tiger game. What the hell is that?
Oh yeah, the old school.
How is this? Is this good?
No.
We'll cover that in the future.
No, not at all.
My friend had MK2 on Game Boy. How is that? Is that a good port? All right, fair enough. All right, so stick to MK2. It was on Steam, not anymore. On 360, there's the Combat Collection, spelled with K's. But emulate it, whatever. It's Mortal Kombat. Good shit. But you do say X, the new shit's good too?
New stuff's great.
Hell yeah.
Injustice 2 is great.
So many video games to check out. Keep watching At The Computer. You can email us at AtTheComputerShow@gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter. I'm at Frank Howley.
I'm Human Tackboard.
Booyah, I'll put all Leroy's stuff, and then hopefully Bruce will be back next week. He's not over 17, so that's why we had to kick him out. Too gory for him. He would have been crying.
Hopefully he wins the tournament.
Yeah, though, he's out there in the outworld. Hopefully, hey, maybe he'll meet Sonya or, Melina, Jade, or what's his name? Stryker.
Yeah, hey,
that guy, all the MK3 guys. I just got a text message. Oh, shoot. Anyway, my beeper's going off. Anyways, thanks for watching At The Computer. Until next time, what did they say? I guess you could say this episode was a flawless victory.
Fatality.
Babality.
Friendship.
Animality?
I want the last line, Frank.
What do they call the animal one? Is it
Animality, yeah.
All right. Animality. Is that what they do it with horses?